everybody, anybody. If anybody's watching from the TuneFox website, there should be a link in the description below. It should be highlighted in orange. If you click on that, that's going to link you to our YouTube page. And on our YouTube page, we can sit there and talk with each other, and I can help you with anything going on. You should also be able to click on the little YouTube logo there in the bottom right if you're watching from the website. That will also link you to our YouTube page, once again, so you can discuss, interact with other people and me, and so I can help you out with anything that might be going on. So as soon as some people joins up and put some questions in the chat there, we'll get started and be talking with each other. See if this thing's in tune first. These strings are the worst. Some questions that popped up. I'll talk about some stuff I guess that I got on my own mind until something shows up. But as soon as something does, we'll change subject. I heard, forget if I read this or watched this in an interview, but Earl Scruggs would say he would base his backup based on the lead player. So if they were playing something up high, he'd be more likely to be playing these low chords. And the same thing, if they were playing something low, he might be more doing some roll or something up high. So that's, basing his backup, his chord voicings, the range of it, based upon the pitch of whatever the lead player's playing. All right, so you're kind of doing the inverse of it. If they go high, you go low. If they go low, you go high. Another thing is, if they're playing a lot of notes, you probably do not want to play a lot of notes. So if they're a mandolin player that's playing, playing a whole lot of notes, you might not want to be doing a roll. Or if you do, you don't want to be really loud with it, and you don't want to be doing a lot of accents. But you may be doing some kind of chop backup, maybe even doing less. So instead of maybe... Instead of something like that, you might just keep it totally simple. So even there, just left a little bit more hole. So sometimes you can leave even more space that allows for whoever's playing lead, allows for their lead to stand out a little bit more. Banjo, have yourself a Merry Christmas, second left measure. The BEC, how do you reach that? I'll take a look at that in just 2 seconds after I finish this thought right here, Sarah. So like I said, if the lead player is playing something high, you might want to be playing some kind of low chords. If they're playing something low, you might want to be high up. If they're playing a lot of notes, you might want to be playing less, leave a little bit more space. The other thing I was thinking about when I was playing with my band the other day is syncopation. Okay, so that's where you kind of play something on the offbeat sometimes and maybe let it ring. Okay, so let's say if I'm playing something, I would say like kind of straight. And I'll give an example of that, and then an example of syncopation. Here, I'll do it with Cripple Creek. Yeah, ground speed. Alright, so that's Cripple Creek straight, right on the beat. If I was going to syncopate that, it'd be, and I'll show you coming around, the syncopation is usually where it shows up. That's where you kind of come early, and usually that's kind of a funky thing. So just how lots of times we're playing the inverse of the lead player, where they play high, we play low, vice versa. They play a lot of notes, we don't. Sometimes vice versa as well. Syncopation. So if someone's playing a lot of stuff straight on the beat, sometimes that will give you a little bit more freedom to be more syncopated. And it will not be less likely to clash because it's not the same kind of style of playing. And the same thing vice versa. If the lead player is playing a lot of syncopated stuff, you probably don't want to do that because that's going to be much more likely to clash. Okay, so Sarah, you said something about have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let me get this back up here so I can see it. Have a little supplement, second to last measure, the BEC. Let me look that up. Get my app out here. How's everybody doing? Is everybody doing okay with this COVID lockdown? Things are getting a little bit scary, I guess. It's nice that we got the digital world, at least we can still interact some. I know I had a gig the other night, but everybody's at least wearing masks, following, protocols, stuff like that. So trying to have as much fun as possible while being as safe as possible, which is a good thing, I think. Okay, Tune Fox, here we go. Let me just make sure I got banjo selected. No, I got guitar selected. I don't know what I was playing on guitar recently, but I must have been doing something on guitar. Have yourself... It's getting about that time of year, too. I was watching Home Alone 2 the other night. Or no, Home Alone 1. I didn't finish it, though. I fell asleep. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Chord melody. Okay, this one's going to be tough. I didn't write this one. I'll tell you how I'll play it. I didn't write this one, though. Bennett must have done this one. Yeah, I love it. It's a classic, right? It just does not go out of style. Second to last measure, the BEC. Okay. Second to last measure. So is this the one where it goes, Sarah, is this the one where it goes C, A minor, D7? So BEC. Do you just mean the notes that are on the strings, BEC? So yeah, we've got a huge stretch here. So we got, when I'm just looking at this, we got 2 notes on the 5, so I'm probably going to do a partial bar on the 5 and then reach my pinky out here, okay? The way that you reach this is going to be your hand position, right? Right now my hands, normally I'll tell people, and I think Sarah, you were here last time, when I was telling people like the bass position, you should have your hands at a bit of an angle, right? Most of the time you should have it at a bit of an angle, but depending on what you play, that's going to change. I do the minor 2-1-2. The minor 2-1-2. Where are you talking about here? Which chord is this over that you're looking at, Sarah? I'm going to keep finishing this thought. So like I was saying, most of the time I was telling people you need to keep your hand at a little bit of an angle that allows you to stretch your fingers out. Because if your hand is parallel to the fretboard, they only reach up, right? There is like some muscle in our hand that allows us to do this, so you have some kind of reach, but not nearly as much as down like that. Oh, you mean just like a general minor chord? 2-1-2. Like that little A minor shape, or are you talking about like this? I bar that usually. A minor down the neck. Back to the thought. Alright, so like I said, angle most of the time. If the hand's parallel, we can only reach up. If we have it at an angle, we can reach out some. But really depending on what we're playing, sometimes it might be more parallel, alright? And this is a perfect example of this. This huge stretch we got here in the measure before the last one. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong measure, that's why. Because I'm looking at the one right before the very last measure, the one that's going C, A minor, D7. Sarah, are you looking at the one that goes E minor, D minor 7, G7? But anyways, I started talking about this, so I'll finish it. This huge stretch we've got, I've kind of got to keep my hand a little bit more parallel, right? If I had it at an angle, my pinky wouldn't be able to reach, so I've got to turn it so that my pinky is able to reach. And sometimes it might be such a huge stretch that I'm actually a little bit the other way, you see? So you've definitely got to alter your hand position sometimes when you've got a big stretch or a weird chord voicing. I'm just tapping the chat here to see what Sarah was saying. If it'll show back up. Daggone it. C minor, or C, A minor, D7. Okay, yeah, that's the one I'm looking at. C, A minor, D7. So yeah, we've got to get that hand. We've got to break that rule that I was talking about last time. So instead of having it at that angle, right, my pinky can't reach if it's at that angle that I'm usually playing at. Because usually if I'm down here, right, you can see my hand's at that angle. If I come up here and try to reach, my pinky won't do it. So what I've got to do is you've got to turn that forearm inwards. Remember, usually I was telling you guys, after you keep it flat, we got to turn it kind of outwards a little bit to get it at that nice little 45-ish degree angle for most of our general playing, kind of down here, down low, or some standard chords like this. But for this one, we got to break that rule. We got to go almost flat, like I was talking about. Usually is not the case, but for this crazy stretch, it's really the only way to get it. So you're going to bar the 5th fret for the G and the B strings, right? And then we're going to turn our hand a little bit and then get that pinky out there, all right? Another thing that can help is this little weird motion that you saw me doing. So sometimes even that's weird looking in the mirror doing it, right? But your fingers can bend outward. So sometimes that little bit of extra stretch can help, right? Going from there to there. But the main thing here is just getting your hand turned correctly, pretty much parallel. You may have to shift a little bit, and like I said, sometimes for some of my bigger stretches, it might even be a little bit away with the pinky side almost touching the neck, if not touching it. So that's how I'm getting that huge stretch is turning that hand so it's parallel. And I've got my thumb, if you can see it, kind of on the back of the neck, right? It's not straight up, it's just kind of falling naturally. Like if I close my hand naturally, it just falls over there if I'm got to kind of concentrate to get in the middle. Or maybe that's just you that have it. Either way, like I said, thumb on the back of the neck. If you have your thumb over, you're not going to be able to reach it. So we want our arm hanging nice and relaxed. We don't want our shoulder bunched up. We want our shoulder hanging down. Also want our elbow kind of nice and relaxed down the side. We don't want our elbow up. That's not going to help us get it. We're going to let that elbow drop down. I'm going to bar this, and then I'm going to turn my hand a little bit flat, and then just try to stretch a little bit to get this pinky note. Try that for a second, Sarah. Let me know if you're able to get it. I hope you got your banjo out. YouTube gets on my nerves sometimes. It won't like keep the chat thing up. I do the A minor 2-1-2. A minor 2 neck. Oh, I see what you're saying, Kyle. So you're just saying like you just sub it out. So instead of doing the crazy stretch, you just go to the easier A minor. Totally. Like that's totally like if you've got something that's super hard on your hands, like it's totally cool, totally awesome to just go to something that works. So let me see. There's probably a different way we could play this. And we talked about this last time, if you guys remember. So lots of times we can find the same notes, 3 or 4 frets up the neck, and then a string above. All right, so I'm gonna try to do that right now. So we were doing this huge stretch, 5 and 5 right there on the G and B string, and then this note up here on the 9th. So, all right, with my the knowledge I've got here about how I tune strings, all right, I know that I can find, once I find a note on the G string, I can find the same note by moving up 5 frets and a string above. So this note right here, move up 5 frets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up a string. Alright? So I found that note there on the 10th fret. I'm going to check for this note. Alright, and then for the B string, whenever you're tuning that, you tune it at the 4th fret. So if you have a note on the B string, you move up 4 frets and up a string, you find that note. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so there I got both the notes that were down here, up here, 10th fret D string, and 9th fret G string. Alright, and then the other note was at the 9th fret, all right? Let me see. Nope. So this one's going, it's going to this note, this 5th fret here at the D string. And that's actually the exact same note here is where your string, your 5th string, because see, it comes over that same fret. These are all the same notes. So if you were just like playing way up the neck, see, I'm pinching the outside strings and I'm fretting on my 5th string. Those are all the same notes. All right, so instead of playing the note at this 5th string, I'm just going to play the open G. So here we go. Let me see if I can get a little bit more of this phrase. Where are we at here? All right, got that first phrase. I might write this out and send it to you guys. Maybe that'll be a little bit easier. Or maybe actually what I can do is I can go in and edit this measure of tune Fox and put in like the alternate fingered version. So that won't be too tough. Alright, and then we got, it was played like this. I could shift backwards, but I'm going to use my string knowledge again here. I know that any note on the D string, you can find it 3 frets up and a string above. Yeah, I'll totally do that, Sarah. I'm going to keep just going through this while I'm going down this rabbit hole. I'm going to go ahead and catch the rabbit. Alright, so instead of playing... I'm going to go 3 frets up, 1, 2, 3, and right there. Right, so maybe this is a little bit easier. And you could kind of move this finger up. It's a little bit cramped, right, but not nearly as much of a stretch. Can you guys, maybe if you got your banjos out, see if that's a little bit easier? I could probably find it's still a different solution still, but we'll see what works the best. So I've got my middle finger 10th fret. First finger is kind of doing a bar pretty much, but the notes you're going to be getting are 9th fret on the G string, 9th fret on the D string. All right, so we're going to start out with a pinch right there. All right. And then here's the other little tough part. Alright. Yeah, like I said, let me make myself a note here, so I'll do that as soon as we're done with this. I'll go ahead and put that up so it'll be up for you guys. So I'll write down that finger version and I'll see if I can maybe brainstorm and get something else. Because I want to make it accessible, right? We want to make the cool stuff accessible. We want to challenge you, but we want to give you the option, you know, not only to let you know, to give you an easier way, but just to show, you know, how many different ways we can play stuff on the banjo. It's crazy, like, how many different ways you can play the same thing on banjo. All right, so second to last, alternate, easy, fingering. Cool. You guys working on anything else, or mostly Christmas songs? I know it's about that season, and you kind of got to start preparing earlier, otherwise the time will come and you'll be like, uh-oh. I know I should probably be practicing on some more Christmas stuff. That one, man. Could you play both versions of Paradise? Yeah, totally. That's one that I wrote, so I should be able to help you with this one. Yeah, it was super sad that they did not include anything about John Prine on the CMA. Maybe I shouldn't complain because I didn't even watch it, but you know, he's a legend in country music for sure. I was also disappointed in what won Song of the Year because I really thought, what's her name? Gabby Barrett, that song I Hope. I thought that song totally should have won. I don't love country radio, but that song just seemed like it had such great lyrics to it. Had that kind of classic twist at the end, country, that a lot of country songs are kind of known for. Alright, get my app back up here. Yeah, there's a buddy in my band, Kentucky Sean. He's actually from Muhlenberg County. So he took that to heart for sure. He's a huge John Prine fan. I was a child, my family would travel. Alright, so you want me to show you like and I'll have to maybe go measure by measure because I haven't practiced this one. But you want me to go through like the Scruggs version and the melodic style? Another thing is, like, if you're listening to Prine all the way through, it's not always the same. Like, sometimes he'll hold one chord a little bit longer from measure to measure. So I think I wrote this on maybe like the first chorus, and I might even play the song here in a minute just to point it out, where there's some points in where he'll hold the C chord longer, some points he won't. Like, it really varies from verse to verse. I think a lot of it is because he based a lot of the music around his lyrics. Like, he made the music fit his words instead of trying to make his words fit the music. You know, and that's probably one of the things that made his songwriting really interesting. He'd have a lot of like really weird little time hiccups and stuff. I think his, like I said, basing the music off of the words, and that's probably, you know, one of the reasons why he's so well known, is that unique thing about him. Why he's so known as just being a great lyricist. All right, so we're starting off with a little. And other thing I'll say about this, like if you go into the app, turn on the little swing feature right there. Where is it? Right, because a lot of this swing stuff is not straight time. It's not. If I was playing this straight, here I'm just gonna use the app instead of me playing it. But I'll play it here in a second just to show you. But just so you can hear the difference between swing real quick. If it's just played straight. Most 3/4 stuff in country and bluegrass is always going to be bum 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 bum, like that instead of right. It's not straight on the beat. It's swing. So turn that little swing thing on whenever learning this 3/4 stuff. And just listen to it for a minute like that. That'll help you get the feel. Alright, I'm going to try to play through some of this. Alright, so let me just read it for a second. Alright, so that one note there at the end, yeah, you can see how there's like a little space there at the end. So that's like a little space in the music. And you should be able to hear that when you play it. That'd be another key thing, I think, is just listening to these tab arrangements a lot. And if you loop little sections and listen to it a lot, you'll really get the feel for it. And if you can slow it down enough to where you can like speak it, even if you're not on pitch, it'll really help you. All right, we'll keep going. Yeah. Yeah, so that hammer on, or that pull off super quick. This slide, anytime you see that the notes like where it's going 3 to 5, it does not have to land at the exact second. It should be on all the app. If it's not on your phone app, you probably need to update the app. So you need to go into your settings. So you go into settings. Where is it? There at the bottom right hand corner of your phone. Where's my updater? Maybe it updates automatically now. The apps, the guys that like actually do the computer programming might have updated to where it did it automatically. Unless I'm not seeing something. Hang on a second. Yeah, I think it updates automatically now. Yeah, so when you go into a song, any song, it should be on all songs now. You go to the little the TuneFox Tools thing right here, where you got those three little sliders, right? Tap on that, and then where it says swing, you got to make sure that that's enabled. Like I said, that's great for these 3/4 songs. It's great for some slow stuff. Not for everything though. There's a lot of fast banjo stuff that kind of needs to be machine gun, you know, right on the beat. All right, I'm gonna keep playing through this, but Kyle, if there's anything like if I'm playing over something you need a little help with, I can take a second to kind of analyze just one measure or two measures. So I'm gonna keep playing through it though. See if there's any other spots I can give you some tips on. Where am I? Yeah, so that's got a little bit of the double thumb thing. Double thumb, I did not used to do a lot of it. Double thumb, double index, or double middle, I would kind of avoid it. But man, it's unlocked a lot of stuff, and I realized how much Earl and JD and a lot of those guys would do those double thumbs on intros, on little licks. Where is it? Right, that's a lot of da 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 da. That's at the same speed you would do like a roll, or in a lot of the kicks. That double thumb thing, and it just gets a really cool sound. But if you're not used to doing it, it can be kind of weird. So you might need to sit around just actually doing it at kind of a swing feel can help you. But you've got to go with whatever your speed limit is at that time. You just got to kind of accept it, and then do your reps. Put in your practice over and over at whatever speed you can do, and eventually the muscle memory sets in, and you'll be able to do it a little bit faster. Yeah, that one's a little bit tricky. That last measure, because the notes that are swung are going to be the 16th notes, right? So the 16th notes, clear up there, are the ones that have two lines. If it has one line, well, that's a quarter note, but those are eighth notes, right? So if it's an eighth note or a quarter note, it's not swung, it's right on beat. So it's like 1 and 2, 1 and get this count right. Yeah, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... Right, it's the little notes that are swung, not the big ones. Is there anything there in that Scruggs version that I kind of skipped over that you want me to take a closer look at? Show chat, yes, show chat. And also, were you able, if you've got your phone out, are you able to kind of look in there and see if that swing feature is showing up? It could be also, if you've got an old iOS, it might not update. That might be, you might need to update your operating system on your phone. That might be the other thing. But yeah, as soon as you can, just let me know in the chat there if you're able to find it on your phone, and if there's any other thing on that Scruggs thing that you want to take a closer look at. I'm going to kind of double check here on my phone to see if I missed a spot to update the app. I think it just self-updates now, though. It's such a good song. My family would travel down western Kentucky where my parents were born. Yeah, so I think now you've probably got to update it in the App Store. And most of the time you update it automatically. But if not, you would just search in the App Store for TuneFox. Let me see here. Yeah, this is getting into like iPhone territory, which I'm not an expert on. I know how to play banjo. Not so great at navigating the Apple interface. I know a few stuff, but hey, and if you guys just have any like other concerns, I just want to hear it. I did find it on my phone, not on iPad or computer. Huh? Okay, pretty sure it should be on the computer. Okay. Yeah, I'll have a hard time playing it through top to bottom, just because I don't have it memorized and I'm not that good of a reader. I'm okay at reading, but I'll usually have to stop. And do you want me to play through the Scruggs one again, or you want me to attempt to? I'll play I'll stop as little as possible. Let me go again. Yeah, that's it. I think maybe the best I can do. It might have been not exactly right, but hopefully that'll give you kind of the idea and feel of it. Let me check out the melodic style. I've got a feeling I'm gonna wreck this one. Let me take a second to kind of read it. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna take my own advice. I'm gonna listen to it for a second. A lot of the times, the basic tempo is set pretty low for practice, but some stuff doesn't really make sense super slow. So you might need to speed it up a little bit, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So while I'm listening, I'm going to speed this up to about, we'll see if 80 works. But if you listen to the psalm, if you've got it pulled up, you can just get a metronome app and tap it out to find what it is. And it'll be that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Should be the speed of it. Yeah, about 80 is good. Maybe a little bit slower. 70, okay. And if you tap it out and it says 140 on your phone, just cut it in half, and that should line up. Let me listen to this real quick. Yeah, so the first couple phrases are just straight melodic, constant stream of notes, but then they're in that fourth measure, da-da, 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 that's like straight melody. Cool. Okay, I'll give it a shot here. Like I said, I may have to stop a couple times till the tune sinks in. But once again, man, listening, whether you're listening to an album or listening to this in TuneFox for an arrangement you're working on, so powerful to listen a bunch. All right, here we go. Let's see what I can do. Yeah. Yeah, so that one's a little bit tricky. Is it okay if I play it that slow? It's easier for me. one's a little bit tricky too. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to take my own advice again. I'm just going to loop this measure, see what it sounds like. So, if I was learning this by ear, I've got that measure loop, right? I'm just going to turn it on repeat. Yeah, so like if well, I've been playing a while, you know, developed a bit of coordination, so that's all it is just putting in your reps, you know. I tell a lot of my students that I teach in person, learning an instrument is a lot like weightlifting. You got to do it regularly, daily. Put in your reps at a weight you can handle, right? You're not going to go in and try to bench 500 pounds. It's just not going to be beneficial. It's a long-term thing for sure. And you just got to kind of accept where you're at. That's really the big thing. Accept where you're at and do it at a speed you can handle. Because if you try to go faster, you're just going to frustrate yourself. And you're not going to be building good muscle memory. You're going to be building bad muscle memory because you're making those mistakes, right? All right, let me listen to this phrase a couple times. I think it's da 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 ba ba da ba. Yeah. So. That's the other thing I'll do after I've got my ear has it, right? So I spent some time listening to just that measure. After I listened to it a bunch, I kind of spoke the measure. Da, 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 ba, ba, da, ba, da, ba, ba, ba. Then I played it, and after I played it, you can see I played it a bunch, just like I had it on loop. And you could practice just with the app running at a speed you could handle on loop. So you'd want to play just that measure a bunch. Ah. All right, moving on. That's the one that's just a little bit tricky because, like I said, it goes from that constant stream of notes to that thing that's straight melody. My family would travel down to Western, right? That's Western Kentucky. Ooh, hold on. Something's not looking right in the tablature. Give me a minute to listen to this. I'm just speeding it up so it goes through it. Alright, I played through that already. It's coming up on the suspect. Oh, yeah. So that's the ending, the measure right before the end, which is kind of a short measure in the song. That's one of the things that I was talking about, where sometimes there's kind of an odd measure that has a lot less notes than some of the other ones. Da-ba-da-bum. That ending thing's not too bad, right? Because you just got that one finger down, and you're really just doing that forward roll, and I don't think we're moving any fingers. So after you hit this note, alright, that's not too bad. Let me see if, now that I've played through it once, I can get a little bit better run through. Still got to turn the thing here. Yeah, and with this one, I don't know what my tone suggestion would be. I mean, it's sort of whatever you're feeling, because it's definitely a kind of a country song, so it's not out of place to be more bridge. Usually when I'm doing melodic stuff, I kind of follow the Bella Flex school of thought, which is he's usually more here, but I guess, you know, he does whatever's appropriate for the moment, because he's awesome. He's Bella Flex. But like I said, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary or wrong, I guess. It would not be stylistically inappropriate. There's the words I was looking for, to play it more near the ridge. Right, but it's also going to sound good near the neck. Should. It just depends on the flavor and the feel that you're going for, you know? So whatever works. Hopefully that helped out. But like I said, if there's any other little pieces, Scruggs version. I like the Scruggs verse on measure 3. I like the options. Are you talking about the licks? Measure 3. Yeah, so that's the one where the licks are. What are the licks we got? Scruggs style's just the best. I'm sorry. maybe I don't know. I love melodic, and I think that's actually what I first started out learning. Was I learned from the Bela Fleck, one of his videos or something, and he does a lot of melodic stuff, even though he can do Scruggs. But gosh, it's just Scruggs to me is banjo. Yeah, I like this one. This is kind of that double thumb. There's some double thumb. There's some double pinch here that I really like. That's just cool. It's just classic Scruggs kind of sounding stuff. That double thumb, that double pinch, double anything, right? It sounds good, and it's a lot easier to do at these slow tempos than it is like. It's super hard to do that fast. But speaking of, I don't know if you guys have been here whenever I talked about this. Let me scoot my camera back so you can actually see me a little better. Get my chair back would have been probably the smart thing. But I went to a banjo camp one time, and Ron Block was teaching there, and he said one of the things he used to do when he was a kid. I think he still does it. He takes practice so serious, man. But this little exercise where it's like you pick a string and immediately reset the finger to whatever string you just picked. So in this case, I've got the thumb on the 5th string, and as quick as I can, I'm setting it right back on top. And it just trains your finger to get back and ready to pick a new note. And that's kind of one of the big things he talks about that builds speed, is like if you pick a note and after I pick my thumb, if I go through and it's hanging down here while I'm doing these notes, and then I don't think to bring it back until I'm done playing these fingers, you've already lost an opportunity to get your thumb into place, to be ready. And being ready before you need it is kind of a key to speed. So he'll do that with thumb on a lot of the strings. So actually, to me, it's good to bring it back on the string. That'll help develop a sense of touch. To me, sense of touch is huge. Your feel, like where that thing is without looking at it. But really, resetting it to where it's in the air, so you're not making that pick noise, is big. So you'd want to have it to where it goes right above where you'd set the string, where the pick is still able to go through. Like you don't want to just have it in the air, right? Let's see if you can see this. But the pick should be like kind of get a better angle. No, my lighting, bad lighting. It's not cooperating. You can kind of see it right there, right? You wouldn't want it in the air, but kind of deep so it's ready to pick, but in the air. Or not touching the string, I should say. Right, and do that on some other strings, G string. And then you're going to bring your thumb down to the B string sometimes, so that's maybe a little bit advanced, the air thing. So at first, probably just do it touching it right back to the string, right? After you get super comfortable with that, bring it to just before you touch the string, right? So we don't stop that thing from ringing and we don't get that pick noise. Right? And then you'd also do that with your first finger. Resetting it. Middle finger. And you might want to do your first finger on your middle string and even your D string. Earl did not bring his. My lighting is getting on my nerves right now. It's really hard to see. He didn't bring his first finger down to the D string a lot, but Mr. Ralph Stanley did. And while Earl is the man, and the one we should look to the most, I think, for Scruggs style banjo playing, definitely some stuff to learn from some of the other players like Ralph and some of those guys. Yeah, so like I said, that finger reset exercise that I learned from Ron, I think will help a lot if you kind of incorporate that into your like pre-practice routine. So like before you practice a song, do this for a little bit. It's boring as all get out, but like I said, learning an instrument, it's like lifting weights, so you gotta work out a little bit. The only good thing is this is a lot easier than working out, at least physically. Mentally, I know it can be taxing, but like I said, whatever your limit is, accept it, work with it, put your reps in, and that's how you're going to see your payoffs long term, right? We don't want to look for short term gains because it's just going to end in frustration. Or like if we were doing weightlifting, it would end in injury, right? And frustration, I guess, can be viewed as a mental injury. It hurts. It's painful sometimes. I know I've been there for sure. You guys got any more questions? I don't think I got too much else to talk about. Didn't really have anything. I've been playing so much banjo lately with my band. Haven't been playing a lot of guitar and mandolin. Got a new mandolin on order that I'm excited about. Got a Weber. Was supposed to be here middle of this month, not coming until February. Something happened. They got a new production manager or something. And they told me that, hey, sorry, buddy. Yeah, no, your mandolin's not coming for another 2 months. At least I've got it paid off. I stress so bad about paying it off, though. All right, any more banjo questions? I think next time we're going to set this up so that we can have people sending questions early. So be on the lookout in your emails for everybody watching. We're going to have it so, like I said, we can send in questions early and talk about that. Thank you very much. Do you have recordings? We don't have anything on Spotify or anything like that. We're going into the studio, I think, in late December to record some original songs. But my band is on Facebook. It's called Kentucky Shine, 2 words. When you search for it, there may be something that pops up that says something about daily swine conditioner. And it's literal hogwash. We did not think about it when naming our band. We didn't do a thorough enough search. All we saw was that there was no bands named Kentucky Shine, but there's actually a legitimate product that farmers use. Actually, farmers, I guess it's farmers or people who raise pigs for like contests. Prize-winning pigs. They use this stuff to wash their hogs, wash their pigs, to get them nice and shiny, to win that big prize money at like farm conventions. But you should be able to search the band and find the band if you just go through a couple of the profiles. And then we've got some videos up there on the page and stuff like that. Alright guys, hope that was helpful. If you guys have any questions for the week, don't be afraid to send in an emails. Sweet! Big. Yeah, for real. Don't be afraid to send any emails because Yiri, he's the guy, kind of the mastermind. Oh, you're so welcome. So welcome. Thanks for joining me and thanks for your questions. I love to teach. Like I said, I do it normally in person several days throughout the week. Got a lot of students. I was saying, if you got questions during the week, don't be afraid to email them in, because Yuri, who is the guy who kind of does all of the actual technical stuff, all the coding and programming for the stuff, he'll be able to route that to me and I can get back to you, okay? Be on the lookout for an email for the next live lesson, I think probably another 2 weeks. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you next time. Bye.